What cryptocurrencies are going to net you the biggest profits? I'm going to be brutally ranking the top 100 coins. When the retail market come in, they are going to be eyeing up the top 100 because these are the most visible and the ones that YouTubers talk the most about. But retail investors need a guiding light. They need to understand where are they going to make the biggest profits. I believe we're in the latter stages of the bull market, moving towards enthusiasm and ultimately euphoria. This is where you see the biggest multipliers come for altcoins. So where do the top 100 cryptos sit within this ranking? My name is the Suppoman, your superhero of 100 to 1000x gems. In this bull market, I have outperformed all crypto YouTubers, turning $63,000 into 7.5 million. And I believe I've got the best ones for you yet. So if you love content like this, make sure you smash a like on this video. If we get to 5,000 likes, I will be giving 3 people in the comments $1,000 of a token of their choice. And make sure you subscribe. And if you have subscribed, leave me a comment to say I have subscribed and I would like this token so I know who to give it to. I believe in the next 6 months, cryptocurrencies are going to be going towards their market tops. And there are plenty of 100 to 1000 X's to be made. Make sure you watch till the end of the video so you see which ones they are. Starting with Bitcoin, this is the #1 cryptocurrency. Digital gold. The one that everybody knows, even if they've never heard of cryptocurrency as a terminology. And therefore, it's God tier. Having said that, I believe this has only got 2x maximum. Ethereum is the original smart contracts platform. This allowed for developers to create decentralized apps that ran autonomously. And this is the first time that Ethereum enters euphoria as a deflationary asset. Now this is obviously God tier, and I believe that this one has got 5x plus. XRP is one of the most popular cryptocurrencies to retail investors because they believe it's cheap. They don't look at the market cap, they look at the price. They see that it's priced over $1 and they think, wow, this could go to $100,000 just like Bitcoin. Even the XRP army are a completely deluded bunch of individuals. XRP, in my opinion, is the most centralized cryptocurrency out there and the most overhyped, overrated, and one of the worst. And as a result of that, that goes into the shit category. BNB, otherwise known as Binance Coin, used to be the strongest exchange in cryptocurrency. I don't believe Binance is strong anymore, and I don't think anybody really cares, except for the fact if their coin gets listed on it. But otherwise, nobody cares about BNB anymore, and in my personal opinion, this is classed as a shitcoin. Solana, to me, is the #1 smart contracts platform. It's the fastest that has any real adoption. Although there are faster layer 1 blockchains like ICP and Sui, Solana is providing one of the best, fastest and cheapest infrastructures for meme coins and AI cryptocurrencies, and that is going to give it value during this bull market. Definite god tier cryptocurrency. This one could 10x. Doge is the Bitcoin of meme coins. It is the #1, the original, and it never meant to be as popular as it was. However, in the last bull market, Elon Musk took on Doge, loved it, and as a result, it made the price skyrocket. Considered a god tier meme coin, but I don't think it's got incredible multipliers ahead of it, 5x max. Tron is without a doubt one of the biggest shit coins that exist in the top 100. I'm surprised when anybody says this has any value. Earlier in this bull market, this did have a tiny little meme coin season, but it didn't last. That's because it's a crap infrastructure, it wasn't user-friendly, and this is just overall a shit coin. Cardano is one of the oldest layer 1 blockchains, and this was built up to be one of the fastest that would come out. Now, this has taken a long time to develop, and really they're looking for it to be truly decentralized. Now, I don't think that Cardano is a shitcoin. I still hold a big bag of Cardano, and I would consider this to be a god tier coin, but I don't see anything more than a 5x for Cardano. Hyperliquid is an infrastructure for DeFi dApps, so it runs a full stack infrastructure for decentralized exchanges and DeFi lending and borrowing applications. Many of the cryptocurrency market consider this strong, others consider it god tier. In my personal opinion, I would say this was potentially solid, but I don't see this doing any more than a 3x. In the last bull market, I was right about Solana. I said that Solana would be the next Ethereum, and it has become that. Now I believe that Sui is the next Solana. That Sui is going to lead the way for fast layer 1 blockchains in the future. And I would say that Sui, I would say this doesn't quite qualify as God tier just yet because it's not been around long enough. But I think even better than that. I think this is incredibly strong. I think this has got a 10x ahead of it. Chainlink is another one of those overhyped cryptocurrencies. The Bitcoin of all the main narratives of DeFi, real world assets. And as a result of that, I believe this is actually a God tier cryptocurrency. But I don't think this has got huge gains ahead of it. Probably 5x max. Avalanche came out roughly the same time as Solana. And Avalanche is considered a gaming layer 1 blockchain. Previously, it was a more general use case, just like Solana, just like Sui. But I believe that this has been pigeonholed into being gaming because quite a few good gaming cryptocurrencies have been built on Avalanche. Their meme coin infrastructure has gone absolutely nowhere, and I think the future of this is as a gaming play. Now, there hasn't been a gaming play for over a year in this bull market, and as a result of that, unless there is a gaming play, this one is likely to be a meh coin. Stellar is very similar to XRP. It's meant to execute transactions quickly and cheaply and cross-borderly. Stellar has probably a better reputation than XRP, but this is a dino coin. It has been around for nearly a decade. And to me, there are way more exciting cryptocurrencies. So although I wouldn't call it shit, I would call it meh. Bitcoin Cash, I don't really need to say much about. Bitcoin Cash was a fork of Bitcoin that had some popularity across the 2018 bear market, where there was battle for command over who was the head of Bitcoin Cash. But no one's really cared for it in the past 5 to 6 years, and as a result, this is just a pure shitcoin. Tron is the Telegram Open Network, a layer 1 for Telegram-based apps. Earlier in this bull market, it did have a narrative season, where coins that were launching from Tron were popping off, and then all of a sudden, Telegram-based apps became such a hot thing, but then it has simmered down. Now, I wouldn't say this is a shitcoin, but I would say that it's quite meh. Shiba Inu was in the top 5 best performing coins of the last bull market, having done a 1 million X. Its money-making days are a thing of the past. I think this has limited upside. I think dogs are not as strong as they used to be. Cats are the new meta. So I would say that Shiba Inu, not shit, but I would say meh. Hedera Hashgraph. I believe this is great tech. Hedera introduced directed acyclic graph, which was a new and faster distributed ledger technology for transactions to be paid in real time. That's why it can achieve over 10,000 transactions per second with very, very fast finality. Also become leaders in RWA, which is rumored to be a hot narrative. I don't see it myself, but I think this is a very solid pick. Litecoin was a fork of Bitcoin intended to be the silver to Bitcoin's gold. No one has cared about this in many years. There are still some idiots that say that this can make you big multipliers. It's bullcrap. This one is a dinosaur coin. It's not going to go anywhere. It's a waste of money if you buy this. Polkadot is a layer 0 that enables for layer 1s to plug in, have security, and have consensus. It provided a novel way of launching coins, which was using parachains. Now, ever since 2020 and 2021, no one has cared about Polkadot. This has got to be one of the worst moving cryptocurrencies in the top 100. In fact, the only place it has moved is down from in the top 10 to out of the top 20. And I would say that Polkadot is not shit, but I would say it's meh. You're going to make very little profit. There seems to be a new army interested in Monero. I have seen Crassus Clay, one of X's biggest influencers, talking so highly about Monero. Now, Monero is a privacy coin. It masks transactions. So this is really good for paying for dark web stuff. Now, I wouldn't say that this was shit, but I would definitely say it was meh. I think anybody talking about this in 2025 is an idiot. Pepe, I would say the opposite. Now, just like Shiba Inu, Pepe has done over 1 million X in this market, but it's the newer version of Shiba. It's also frog meta. Pepe is extremely recognizable and commercial. When new retailers are coming into cryptocurrency, I think it's a very solid pick for them. Uniswap is a decentralized exchange mainly for Ethereum-based assets, but this is also a multi-chain DEX. Now, Uniswap, no one has given a rat's about the token in 5 years, and to me, although I don't think it's shit, I do think it's meh. Pi Network, I really don't understand the hype behind Pi Network. I think Pi Network is a gross piece of crap that is somehow in the top 100, I think that this deserves to be in the shitcoin pile. Aave is the Bitcoin of DeFi, the king of borrowing and lending. This is the platform that most of the whales in cryptocurrency utilize to get APYs on their stable coins and to make decent money when the market is hardly moving. Now, DeFi has not been a hot trending narrative for over 5 years. And as a result of that, I don't think that Aave is a shitcoin, but I do think it's a meh coin. Tau, on the other hand, is the leader of AI cryptocurrencies. This is the Bitcoin of AI. I was one of the first YouTubers to cover Tau at just over $30. And this is a decentralized neural network that uses the information power of its participants to create the ultimate infrastructure for AI apps. Now, I personally believe that bittensor is strong. Just like Sui, this could also go into God tier. Internet Computer Protocol is one of the most undervalued, overlooked layer 1 blockchains that exist in cryptocurrency. ICP is actually one of the fastest layer 1 blockchains, 300,000 transactions per second. Now, where its main utility lies is as a decentralized super server. So you could essentially run all of the current Web 2 internet on ICP. And this is the potential home for Web 3. Now, the other innovation that has come to ICP in just the last week is Caffeine AI, an AI-based pump.fun, where you will be able to create not only coins, but websites and have hosting for these particular coins. So the ICP sits as a holistic structure for the whole web package. And as a result of that, I would say that ICP is a mixture of strong and God tier. 10, maybe even 20x potential. Near is a layer 1 for AI dApps, so it competes with Tau. Now, I believe that Near is a very strong competitor because of scalability. 100,000 transactions per second through sharding. Now, I believe that Near is very strong. I think that this one has got a potential 10x ahead of it. Aptos is just like Sui. It is a layer 1 that utilizes the Move programming language. And I believe that Aptos has not got the same kind of appeal as Sui. Sui is way more commercial. But I would say that Aptos is still a solid pick. The theoretical speed of Aptos is 150,000 transactions per second, whereas Sui is 300,000. So Sui is double. It's also better. It's got a much more successful ecosystem than Aptos, but Aptos still has room to run. I think it's a solid, potentially a 5, maybe a 10x. Ondo is considered the market leader of real world assets. So this is a tokenization platform to invest in tokenized stocks, commodities, real estate, luxury items, and they have got known links to BlackRock. Now, as a result of that, I would say this is a strong cryptocurrency. I wouldn't necessarily say this has got anything more than a 10x ahead of it, but if you are wanting to be in the Bitcoin of the RWA narrative, Ondo is it. Ethereum Classic serves as a market mover when Ethereum really gets going. So this is the original Ethereum, therefore known as Ethereum Classic. Now what happened was they eventually forked off the new Ethereum and this one was left as a legacy coin. It doesn't really have much utility. People only like trading it when Ethereum is going up. But other than that, no one really cares. This is utilized in Korea or Asian markets, and that's probably the only reason why it stayed in the top 100. But to me, I think that Ethereum Classic is probably in the meh category. Kaspa is seen as one of the top proof of work infrastructures. Where Ethereum is a much slower layer 1 blockchain compared to Solana, Kaspa is the fast version of Bitcoin. So I would say that Kaspa, I would say maybe a solid pick. I don't foresee massive multipliers for this, contrary to what YouTubers say. You know, this has already done a 1000x in this market, and I don't think it's got much more ahead of it. Mantle is an Ethereum layer 2, so it takes transactions off-chain, settles it, puts it on-chain, and that's how it achieves scalability. So it's basically like the newer version of Polygon. But layer 2s, they're not sexy anymore. No one cares about layer 2s. Although this one definitely gets a lot of institutional volume, I don't foresee that this is going to make big multipliers. Vechain is a supply chain based blockchain. This provides data on a product journey. If you've got any luxury items, you will be able to see if it's authentic via the Vechain platform, and you will see every stage of the supply chain that that product has gone through to make sure it was treated correctly. This is probably one of the most unsexy cryptocurrencies, one of the most unsexy narratives, and even though I'm a big holder of it, I don't foresee this is going to make big multipliers. It is now 8 years old. So to me, I would say that vechain is a meh cryptocurrency. Trump is the official Donald Trump meme coin. This has been a very, very controversial launch because it was launched just before his inauguration and apparently has been used for corruption to make people within Donald Trump's circle rich. Donald Trump is the US president, arguably the most powerful person in the world, or one of, and anything that he should be doing across the next 6 months could really bolster Trump. Now, Trump is already in the billions. I would say this is maybe a solid meme coin pick. Render is a decentralized GPU, just like Nvidia, but a decentralized version. So this is used for rendering AI, gaming, all sorts of different use cases. This, if it was a stock, this would be a blue chip because it's basically the crypto version of Nvidia. Now, I don't think this has got huge multipliers ahead of it. I would never invest in it. But having said that, I do think this is a solid low-risk coin for your portfolio if you want exposure to deep in and AI narratives. Artificial superintelligence is basically a superstructure made up of Fetch AI, Singularity, and Ocean Protocol, which were 3 individual cryptocurrencies that came together to create a kind of powerhouse overall ecosystem. Now, as far as AI is concerned, I think AI is a very strong narrative. And what's happened is 3 dinosaur coins have kind of come together to create, in my opinion anyway, a meh coin. I believe in a cryptocurrency having its own individual appeal, not combining a load of things, that in my personal opinion was a marketing event to kind of give them some kind of relevance. I would say that artificial superintelligence is very much a meh coin. Cosmos, just like Polkadot, is a layer 0. This enables the creation of really fast, really secure layer 1 blockchains. Cosmos has just not been popular for many years. One of the layer 1s that came out of Cosmos, which is Injective, that is seen as the shining beacon out of that ecosystem. And as a result of that, I would say that Cosmos is a meh cryptocurrency, won't go very far. I think it could do even worse than Polkadot. Polygon is one of the original layer 2s. I got into this when it was Matic, but Polygon's since rebranded, looking to be the ultimate overall layer 2, so it could be used across networks. This had its major bull market in 2021. It did a 1000x. It was one of my best performers ever. Now, I believe this is a dinosaur coin. No one cares for it. There are so many decent layer 1s that are fast now. And basically, people don't really care about using Ethereum so much. And even less so about using Polygon. Arbitrum, this could have been so promising. But what I will say is that although this has got an insane amount of total value locked, this is definitely the leader. I would say that the interest in layer 2 is just no longer there. As a result of that, I would say that Arbitrum is a meh cryptocurrency. I don't think it's going to get much in the way of gains. I think, like most of the coins in the meh category, it will go up simply because of osmosis. The market movement will be generally going up, but I don't foresee this is going to have any meaningful spikes. WorldCoin, this is like something out of Black Mirror. WorldCoin is intended to create a kind of universal cryptocurrency that is also used for biometric data and use WorldCoin as a method of payment. It's not a shitcoin, but I don't think it's going to make any decent multipliers. Filecoin, this is a DePIN cryptocurrency. DePIN stands for Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Network. And this provides file storage for crypto apps. So this is very good for a dApp if they need infrastructure, if they need storage space. To me, it's such a rubbish narrative. DePIN is so unsexy. I would just say this is a meh crypto. Quant, this is an old cryptocurrency. It came out in 2018. And this was meant to be the first multi-chain dApp infrastructure where you could create dApps for any network. But no one cares for it, first of all. Secondly, it's got such a high token price that I think this is going to put off investors. They're not going to see any psychological benefit to buying this at all. And this, to me, is just a pure shitcoin. It's a load of crap. Just no good for anybody anymore. Algorand is very similar to XRP, Stellar, and Hedera Hashgraph in being a kind of ISO 20022 compliant cryptocurrency, which means it's bank friendly, fast borderless, cheap transactions. To me, this is the more legitimate version of XRP. And I would say that this borders on solid to meh. Jupiter is the uniswap of this market cycle. So Jupiter is the decentralized exchange for the Solana blockchain. Anybody who is interacting with Solana meme coins is using Jupiter. It's Jupiter and Radium. Part of the DeFi category of cryptocurrencies, which is not very sexy, but it's Solana based. So I would say that simply because of the relevance of Solana, I'd say this is a solid pick. But again, don't expect any meaningful multipliers. Celestia was really built up to be one of the big brands in cryptocurrency. So what Celestia is a modular blockchain. So instead of having a single layer 1 that is siloed, what you've got here is the ability to create your own blockchain, getting elements of strong blockchains for consensus, dApp layer, for data. So this introduces something new, is a first mover and a market leader in modular blockchains. Having said that, it's basically gone back down to its original price of just under $3, and no one cares about it. As an outside chance, it might do okay, so therefore it's in between meh and solid, but I personally think it's just not sexy enough to really grab anybody's attention. SPX 6900 is one of the new meme coins, and one of the biggest meme coin influencers, an individual called Murad. This is his top coin. Now, the S&P 6900 is all about flipping the S&P stock index. So the S&P is made up of 500 companies that are worth $50 trillion. And what S&P 6900 is trying to do is achieve a valuation that's bigger than $50 trillion. So this is a cult-based meme. This is actually one of the stronger picks in the top 100. And I would say that SPX definitely has a chance of I would say that SPX definitely has a chance of 20 to 30xing. Bonk was the first Solana meme coin. It's a variation of Doge and Shiba, but for the Solana network. And that's why this is considered a kind of blue chip meme coin. Bonk still has a lot of interest, considering the fact it's already made lots of money for early investors. And I would say that Bonk, is a solid pick. I wouldn't say it was meh, but I wouldn't say it'd have huge multipliers either. Injective is a layer 1 on Cosmos. And as a result of being on Cosmos, it's basically got a really, really lightning network. Now, I would say that Injective definitely has whale attention, a lot of YouTubers talking about it, and I would say this is a solid pick. I would not say it's a strong pick. I wouldn't say this has anywhere near the likelihood of making the significant multipliers like everything else in this category. Virtuals is an infrastructure to create AI agents, and you will be able to deploy them with a series of qualities and characteristics. They'll be able to automatedly post on Twitter, create social media. I actually still think that there is life ahead of this yet. I think this is a potential strong pick, potential 10x still for virtual. Filecoin is arguably the most shock value meme coin that exists today. If you say to somebody you've bought Filecoin, people will just love it. This scores very highly in engagement on X. These guys are the leaders in social media engagement, one of the best performers, up there with SPX as one of the top meme coins. Now, this is just over $1 billion, and just purely because of its absurdity, its jokes, its small AI involvement, I would say that Filecoin also is strong for this market. I could see this one doing a potential 20x. Sonic is a layer 1 infrastructure that was previously called Phantom and was founded by Andre Cronje, who is the founder of modern DeFi. So he is a genius, basically, and he created a super fast layer 1 blockchain that at this point still has very high total value locked in it. I don't see much coming out of this ecosystem other than DeFi products at this point. I haven't seen any meme coins. You never know what's coming up for it. I would say this is a solid pick. I wouldn't say it's strong necessarily, but I would say you can make decent multipliers from it. Optimism, I was so excited about Optimism when it first came out. This is the brand behind optimistic rollup technology, the fastest version of Ethereum layer 2 scaling. And that's why this had enormous promise. But no one cares for layer 2s anymore. They don't care for Ethereum that much anymore. They like Solana. Solana's number 1, Sui's number 2, and there's a few other key players. But Optimism has lost a lot of relevance. And I would love to put this in solid. Back in 2022, this would only have been upwards of solid. But since meme coins and AI have just been so huge, and Optimism doesn't really do much within these narratives. So as a result of that, unfortunately, I've got to put it in meh. Story is a new layer 1 blockchain that is designed to protect user assets. So this is very much a deep in RWA AI play. This has just rocketed into the top 100 without really even being known. I've hardly heard any YouTubers talk about Story. And I don't think it's got the best of brand names. Like Story, I mean, it just doesn't really suit an elite layer 1 blockchain, but it does cover strong narratives, and that can't be looked down upon. So as a result of that, I am going to risk it and put that IP could be a solid pick, but I don't think this has got anywhere near the kind of interest from YouTubers. It doesn't really appear a lot in search traffic, so there's no draw for YouTubers to talk about it. So it could really remain in the meh category. Sei is another layer 1 blockchain. So this was previously designed for DeFi use. So to create DeFi applications, it had a base transactions per second speed of 10,000, which at the time was strong. Now, this came out probably about 2 or 3 years ago. And say this is its first bull market, I say this could be a solid pick because lots of YouTubers talk about it. It's got a great name. It sounds like Sui. I wouldn't say it's a strong pick, but I would say this is not a bad pick for a retail investor. Stacks is the first and leading layer 2 for Bitcoin. So you can create apps and NFTs on Bitcoin with Stacks. And that's where it's got value. Now, Stacks to me has a very boring value proposition in terms of it's not AI, it's not memes, it's not a layer 1. Where it's distinct is because it's for Bitcoin and because it's the leader for Bitcoin. Lots of YouTubers talk about Stacks. As a result, I expected to get some momentum, and I would say this is a solid pick. XDC, I do not understand XDC, I don't know why this is in the top 100. It confuses me. This is basically a lot like kind of Algorand, XRP, fast borderless transactions, cheap, but you've already got a lot of players in this field. I would say that this is actually a shit coin. Pudgy Penguins. This started out life as an NFT collection and has now become a meme coin because they released a coin behind the Pudgy Penguins brand. Now, this is a good brand name. So, Pudgy Penguins have got a partnership with Walmart and Toys R Us to bring out collectible toys, and this is likely to just evolve bigger and bigger as a brand. You know, this is likely to be the #1 brand in crypto as far as NFTs are concerned, you know, superseding Bored Apes and CryptoPunks. So I believe that this one is a strong pick. Flocky is another Shiba or Doge derivative. So whereas you had Doge, which was previously the elite meme coin, then you had Shiba come along, which was the breed of the Doge icon. Now what we've got is the most famous, or one of the most famous Shibas, which is Flocky, which is Elon Musk's Shiba Inu. Very, very strong in 2021. I saw this across all of London Underground. They are still innovating. They've brought out other platforms and meme coins. So they brought out TokenFi, which is a token creation platform. It's basically pump.fun. And they have got Valhalla, which is a kind of metaverse stroke gaming play. And they have got some meme coins that have been attached to them. And there's going to be more. I would say that Flocky is, you know, suffers from being an aged dog coin. You know, this has been around for a long, long time. It's made its money. Its holders are probably, you know, quite happy with what they're holding based on where they bought it from. And I would say that this is really a meh cryptocurrency. You know, it basically belongs with Shiba. Gala Games was the darling of the last bull market, the darling of gaming. So this is a games developer. They have provided tons of really good titles, and some of them are even licensed games. The quality is spectacular. However, they had some internal politics, and that brought the token value right down. It made investors scared. They thought this was a very volatile asset to have. And as a result of that, Gala has fallen out of being one of the top gaming coins. And there has not been a gaming narrative for a while. Now, if there is a gaming narrative, Gala could nicely and easily go into solid picks, because you know, this will be considered one of the first that people will go to and invest in. If there's no gaming narrative, this is a meh coin. So I'm going to say I believe there is going to be a gaming narrative, and as such, this belongs in solid. Dogwifhat. This is one of the most simplistic Shiba dog-based cryptocurrencies that came out in this market cycle. And this one's already done an 8 million X since it launched. Now, as a result of that, most of the people that were early investors made the money. And you're getting in now, you are getting into a cryptocurrency very simple, very easy, very appealing, very commercial. So I would say this just about, because it's relatively new, falls into solid, but I would say its best gains are behind it. Immutable X suffers from being a layer 2 gaming play. So Immutable X enabled for Ethereum-based games to have gasless transactions, for NFTs and for any in-game actions. It made gaming very affordable and very attractive for Ethereum. Having said that, again, it falls into layer 2. Falls into gaming, which has not had a narrative since late 2023. Now, if this was to get a narrative again, I would say solid. If it doesn't, meh. But I would say, again, 3 to 5x I don't see it doing much more than that. Sandbox aged coin. This one did a 100x in the last bull market simply because there was a metaverse narrative. So Facebook changed their name to Meta. They were going down a path of being a metaverse-based business, but since then, nothing's really happened with Meta. And as a result of that, Sandbox, Decentraland, which were both very strong coins in the top 100, have now kind of faded into obscurity. And I would say that as a result, Sandbox is a meh coin now. So this is the final standing for how I brutally rank the top 100. Now, none of these, not one of these, is going to exceed 30x. There's just zero chance. So I provided you some cryptocurrencies I think have more than 30x potential and even 100 to 1000x potential. The first one is all will retire. That's the name of the coin, and that is the mission of the coin, to make sure that everybody who is an investor will retire. So their slogan is, I will retire, we will retire, all will retire. And it's a very close-knit community. You only have to look on their Twitter, pages and pages of people holding up boards saying, I will retire, we will retire, all will retire. And this is what crypto is all about. Crypto is all about retiring through investing. So the whole mission of this is to retire through how well this coin will do. Now, this coin is presently only a $5 million market cap, whereas most of these are in the billions. As a result of that, I would say that this falls into the super strong category. Leah is an AI agent, the first video-based AI agent. That means all of her content is in video. You ask her a question, she produces a video for you and gives you the answer. Now, she is fantastic at market analysis, portfolio recommendations and management, and in the future, she'll be able to trade for you. You'll be able to give her money and she will be able to find the best opportunities for you. She'll probably be some form of bot that is able to recognize meme coins with high pumpermentals, and she'll be able to make trades for you. So over time, I see her being the #1 virtual assistant in cryptocurrency. Now, we saw virtual assistants like AIXBT going all the way up to over $1 billion market cap, and where Leah is right now is under 4 million. So I would say that Leah has definitely got 100x, if not more, potential. Colin is without doubt one of the most intelligent AI chatbots you can talk to, with a very fast natural processing language. So you talk to her, she responds instantly. Now, at this point, you can talk to her via voice, but in future, she's going to be a more visual AI agent. Well under $4 million market cap. And I would say she's the most impressive. She has been on the Crypto Banter channel about 2 or 3 times, arguing with Ran and saying that Ran is making poor choices and has very good logic and arguments regarding what you should buy and what you should sell. I actually think she's a fantastic virtual assistant, much more serious as an AI agent than Leah. If you're really serious about your investing game and you really want to know about cryptos and you want to get her to look at your portfolio and tell you why it's strong or why it's not, tell you why the volume profile is good and reliable or not, then Colin is the one for you. Now, the more tokens you have, the more you'll be able to get out of her, hence why I think this will have incredible token demand during AI season. And also, because she is a face, just like meme coins, has already got a cult community that follows and uses her, and I believe that over time, the whole swarm that Colin is actually the face of is going to develop and become more visual agents and provide incredible value for investors. So I would say that Colin, similarly, could 100x if not more. Ass has fartcoin vibes. Ass is one of those shock value, visually stimulating cryptocurrencies. So Ass is all about celebrating the female anatomy, provides videos, photos, GIFs about ass. Their engagement is excellent. They've got a very strong hodler community. I would say this one has got definite 100x potential, potentially more than that. And I just think, just like with Fartcoin, you know, if you're explaining to somebody on the street and they say, oh, what cryptos do you have? You know, during the euphoria phase, you say you got ass, it'll be an immediate attention grabber. You know, people will be like, I want some of that. And the cryptocurrency that was closest to this, and is actually my biggest ever multiplier, is tits. There's only 2 parts of the female anatomy that people really care about, and that's tits and ass. And as a result of that, tits went to a $500 million market cap, so this one has definitely got the potential to 100x from here. Fuck 9 to 5, I put this in the same category as SPX 6900, battling the modern world that makes it very hard for people to break out of the 9 to 5. People are wage slaves now. Cost of living is very, very high due to inflation, wages not going up anywhere near the same rate as inflation, and as a result, people are wage slaves forever. So this is all about breaking out of wage slavery. This is a community committed to retiring and having financial freedom. And that's why it's very strongly worded. Fund 9 to 5 is a very shocking name. It grabs attention immediately and also very succinctly tells you what the mission of the coin and the project is. And just like SPX, it's also got a letter and number combination. So it makes it look very TradFi friendly, even though they're very rebellious in nature and a very degen coin. So I would say that Fuck 9 to 5 has definitely got 100x potential again. This is just over $3 million market cap. And looking at SPX and seeing that that's well over $1 billion, I would say this has got upwards of 100x. Low cap is a simple to understand meme coin. It's low cap. Explains everything you need to know about it. So cheap entry price, built for 100x, held by a community of strong degens. But it's incredibly early opportunity. This is under $3 million market cap. And I could easily foresee this having relevance all the way up until it's no longer a low cap. And actually, I think that's the challenge of it. Because this is only a low cap if it's 250 million or less. So getting it over means it officially graduates from being a low cap. So I think that this has got pull to actually get to that kind of value, which is over, at this point, a 100x. Omega Health is your first AI doctor. So if you're ill or if you're unfit, then you go to this AI doctor, which is now officially an app on the Google and Apple stores, right? And you are able to consult this AI doctor in order to get a diagnosis and therefore a solution to any problems that you have or any medical issues that you have. And if you're unfit, this will give you some advice for wellness, for fitness training. And this is only $1 million market cap. It's just a very, very powerful AI agent. And it's a first mover in healthcare. Something that Google, Meta, Amazon, they're all working on, are creating these really top tier AI agents that can assist with all sorts of ailments, and healthcare being one of the strongest. In this modern world where people go to the gym and look after their health or try to look after their health, there is a massive place for an AI based doctor that knows you and your medical history follows you with this AI doctor. I think this has definitely got 100x potential. This to go to 100x would only be 100 million. And there are way worse cryptocurrencies that are over $1 billion. Millennial is a cult meme coin for anybody who loves the period between the early 80s and the late 90s. So you have got all of the various icons of the period. They are sharing all this kinds of artwork. And it's really to celebrate the millennial people and the millennial age. So 80s and 90s films, music, fashion, society, culture, all of that is shared in millennial, right? So if you are a person of that age, of which 60 or 70% of my audience are, then this is the perfect cult coin because it satisfies a target market. So I believe that millennial, which is currently well under $1 million market cap, has got the potential to do 1000x. We have the Suppoman coin. Now the Suppoman coin is presently under $1 million market cap. Now Suppoman is all about embracing the degen in you. So if you are a person that likes to look for low or micro cap or degen cap gems that can make you 100 to 1000x and outperform all those retail investors that are investing in all of these top 100 cryptocurrencies, if you want to outperform them, you have the degen spirit. That's what Suppoman's all about. It is a cult community. Now, if you've got 1 million Suppoman, then you are able to access my VIP Telegram group and my all buys group. So any coin that I buy, and during this bull market season, is going to go out first to anybody who is in that all buys group. So this has got intrinsic demand. There's only 800 million tokens in circulation, and there are over 400 people who own 1 million Suppoman tokens. So that means there's 400 million that are essentially taken out of circulation. So it's going to have a scarcity. And as a result of the supply shock, this one could do astronomical proportions of gains. 1000x potential. Under $1 million. And a bonus coin I have got for you is Giga Chadet. Now, Giga Chadet is a cult community meme coin. So it is the female version of Giga Chad. Giga Chad is a meme coin that appeals to alpha males, masculine men, gym fitness freaks, and people with strong jawlines, basically. Now, Giga Chadet is all about strong women. Now, in crypto, you've got to be strong. You've got to have thick skin in order to survive and thrive. So any female in cryptocurrency is basically a Giga Chadet. So therefore, Giga Chadet captures that target market that's completely uncatered for. Most meme coins cater to men. This one is the first community and group for women. And actually, if you look at their spaces, they are regularly hosting women to see what challenges they come up against in crypto and really understand the female journey. So GigaChadette is really the community for women, and I have seen no other coin in cryptocurrency targets that specific community. And as a result of this being, at this point, a 500k market cap. Sky's the limit when all the ladies come into crypto, and men who want to buy this for their ladies, this could easily 100x, if not more. And that concludes my brutal ranking of the top 100, whilst giving you some fantastic 100 to 1000x coins. Which was your favourite cryptocurrency mentioned in here? Which top 100 coin did I not give a fair evaluation of? And what cryptocurrencies do you think have 100 to 1000x potential? Let me know in the comments. And also let me know in the comments that you are subscribed and what coin that you would like. And would you like one of these coins? Till next time, people, I've been the Suppoman. You have been awesome. It is lights out, all out.